Hello and welcome back once again to the Wrestling Group. I'm your host, as always, Ryan, and today we are going to be looking at a preview and predictions of Wrestle Kingdom, New Japan's biggest pay-per-view of the year, and possibly just maybe the biggest Wrestle Kingdom in the history of New Japan. It's Wrestle Kingdom 20, and of course, it is Hiroshi Tanahashi's last ever match. He retires tonight. The ace of New Japan, one of the greatest to ever lace up a pair of boots in Japan. Hiroshi Tanahashi retires. We've just had John Cena in WWE, one of the biggest names in WWE history, and now we're having one of the biggest names in New Japan history's retiring as well. So what we'll do, as always, is we'll go through match by match. The good thing about New Japan is they always put the order up, so you can literally go match by match and it will be in the order. And we'll give our predictions, and of course you can drop your predictions in the comment section below too, and at the end we can pair them up and see who gets more right, me or you. So as always, if you haven't already, please do like, comment, and of course the most important one, subscribe to the Wrestling Group today. So I thought I'd go for normally our preview and predictions videos just have the match decal up and then I talk, and we do it that way. But I've had issues where I've uploaded New Japan content before, videos where they've blocked it for copyright, plus I've even done it with pictures and they've blocked it for copyright too. So I thought, you know what, I'm not going to risk any of that. I'm just going to sit in front of the camera, so you'll have to excuse me if occasionally my head goes down while I look at the match that's coming up next on my computer screen. Normally you don't see all this because normally it's all tucked away under the pictures, but I'm going to do that because I really don't want this video to get pulled for copyright. So we'll start at the pre-show, which I didn't realise this was actually on the kickoff show until literally just before when I looked it up. So the kickoff match they've actually put on this is the New Japan World Television Championship match, which is obviously a 15-minute time limit, and it's the current holder El Phantasmo, ELP, and he'll be taking on Chris Brooks from Pro Wrestling Noah. Now I do know that last night, or this morning, as it works out, whatever you know, El Phantasmo turned up in DDT Pro Wrestling to take out Chris Brooks. So it's an interesting one for me. I like Chris Brooks. I don't watch him nowhere near enough as much as I probably should. Pro Wrestling Noah isn't easy to get in the UK. New Japan's not the easiest either, but at least you've got the New Japan World. Pro Wrestling Noah is done through Wrestle Universe, isn't it? I have watched the odd match from Noah, the odd pay-per-view, from Noah, but I find it harder to get rather than New Japan. But yeah, this should be an interesting matchup. El Phantasmo obviously is he two-time? I think he's two-time television champion now. And obviously he's taking on Chris Brooks. See, it's a hard one for me because I like Chris Brooks, and if the rumours are to be true about New Japan, they're going to be losing more stars again at the beginning of this year. The 3 members of Bulk Club War Dogs contracts are all due to expire, and they are looking at going over to America rather than staying in Japan. So, New Japan could definitely do with some new talent. Now, I don't obviously know what Chris Brooks' contract situation is like, but obviously if he's not tied down to a contract for Noah or DDT, I would like to see him come in and take a spot in New Japan. There's quite a lot of matchups there that'll be interesting. But of course, El Phantasmo, I feel like, needs to start picking up some victories. Otherwise, this television championship run is just going to be another one where it's just no proper defences and just dropping the belts. Like, I feel like basically since Zack Sabre Jr.'s very first run, where he defended it, was like 16 times in over the course of a year. I feel like the belt's been crap since then, to be honest. It's not been great at all. So like I say, I wouldn't be too opposed to Chris Brooks winning if it means he stays in New Japan, or even if he took the belt with him and defended it in Pro Wrestling Noah and DDT, and then come back and defended it in New Japan as well. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But for the sake of the belt, I think ALP should pick up the victory, but that is in the kick-off show. So we'll start then next in match number 1, and it is a no time limit, never open weight 6-man tag team championship Tornado Rambo. So they normally obviously do the Rambo, and it was for the King of Pro Wrestling, wasn't it? That was the Rambo that they were used to doing, which obviously originally was the trophy, and then it became the title. Now this year they are doing a 6-man tag team championship Rambo. This is going to be insane. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 different sets of 3 tag teams in this match. So let's go through and see who we have. So we have Master Wato, Yo, and Toriano. They are the champions, and they will be defending against Takeshi Casey, Yuya Uemura, and Shota Umino. Bolin Oleg, Yoshihashi, and Haruki Goto. Hartley Jackson, Ryo Aoya, and Zack Sabre Jr. Taguchi, Tiger Match, and Maccabi. Clark Connors, Oscar, and Yuta Ice. Satoshi Kojima, Taichi, and Tomohiro Ishii. And the last team of Kanemaru, Sanada, and Ren Narata, obviously from House Torture. So that is going to be really insane. There's quite a few factions that play there as well, which is interesting. And obviously we've got, like say, House Torture, and you've got Bulk of War Dogs, and you've got. Why has mine gone blank? What's Zack Sabre Jr.'s faction? Oh, my mind's gone blank. I can't think of it. That's why you write stuff down, folks. Do you know what? This is insane. And to be honest, yeah, I'm gonna admit this. I've completely lost track of the never openweight 6-man tag team championships. I didn't even realise that Master Wato, Yo, and Toriano were the champs. So I don't know how long they've had them for. I don't think it really matters, to be honest, who wins this. The 6-man tag champs in Japan aren't the best anyway, are they? I mean, take your pick. I mean, personally, I would like to see Kojima, Taichi, and Ishii win them. That's probably the team I like the most out of in there. Although I love Zack Sabre Jr. I love Master Wato. I think there's at least one in every team I really like. No, do you know what? I'm going to stick with it. Kojima, Taichi, and Ishii. I'm going to go with that as my winners. Up next, we have the 60-minute limit. The time limit of the IWGP Women's Championship and the New Japan Strong Women's Double Championship match. So it's for both titles, which is really frustrating, to be fair. So we have the sixth champion of the IWGP against the 6th New Japan Strong Women's Champion as well. So you've got Shiori versus Seiya Kamatani. I always struggle with Japanese names, so feel free to point me out that I'm wrong. So Shiori is in her first defence as the Women's World Champion, and Seiya Kamatani is Kamatani. She is in her second defence as the Strong Women's Champion. So to be honest with you, neither one of them really should be dropping the belts. Neither one of them's had them long, and I don't feel like, unless you're literally going to merge both titles, I don't feel like this match should have been for both titles. So if you're going to merge them, then that's fine. Because to be honest with you, there's not really much of a women's division in New Japan anyway, is there? I think it's going to be a good match. I think it's going to be enjoyable. I don't know where to go with it, because I don't feel like either woman should be dropping their belt. And it's New Japan, so it's not likely that they're going to do like an interference, or I doubt, very, very much doubt on a Wrestle Kingdom card 2 women are going to go 60 minute time and draw. I'm going to pick Shuri. I think she's going to win and pick up both belts. Mainly because it's her first title defence. It's only Saya's second. And I don't feel like either one of them should be losing the title at all. So the third match is the 30-minute time limit special 10-man tag team match. So this is Hiromu Takahashi, Drilla Maloney, Gabe Kidd, David Finlay, and Shingo Takagi. So it's the mix of War Dogs and LIJ. And they'll be facing United Empire of Hanare, Callum Newman, Great Khan, and of course we've recently found out that Andrade's in this match, but of course there's still a mystery partner. I'm not sure who that mystery partner could be. At this point it could be anyone. I mean, they've just announced Andrade. Who'd have thought Andrade El Idolo would have come into New Japan and been part of United Empire? Not me, that's for sure. So it could literally be anyone at this point. Maybe TJP returns. I was going to say Robbie X, but he's part of Bullet Club, isn't he? I'm not sure. Maybe TJP. One thing's for sure. For me, United Empire, they need some direction. I would give, if they're going to keep the faction, I would give it to Andrade. I'd let him become the new leader, and let him change quite a few bits about it. Build him a faction. Let him stay in New Japan for a while. Although we did see on the promo video to build up this match, we did see the AEW logo. So obviously he's got unfinished business in AEW, especially against Kenny Omega. Literally, unless it's a big, massive name coming in, I expect it to be War Dogs and LIJ to pick up the victory. Hopefully Shingo gets the win, or Gabe. See, David Finlay, Drilla Maloney and Clark Connors, they're all potentially leaving New Japan. Should be interesting to see. I know New Japan are trying to get them all signed to new deals, and I hope that they do. Because to be honest with you, I don't see them going anywhere. I feel like if they go to WWE, they'll get lost. And to be honest with you, they'll probably get lost in AEW as well. I feel like obviously if Finlay came in, the first thing they could obviously do is when Jay White's back is do that match. Jay White versus Dave Finlay. But after that, I don't think there's a hell of a lot you can do with them in either company. Obviously Gabe Kidd's been in and out of AEW now for over a year. He'd easily come in and go into the Death Riders. He'd slide in that perfect. Obviously he's just been at the last pay-per-view as well against Darby Allin. So if it was Gabe, he'd slide into AEW, no issues. Match number 4, we have a 60-minute time limit. IWGP Junior Heavyweight number 1 contenders fatal 4-way. See, for me, I think this should have just been a 5-way and they should have just had the belt on the line. But it's not, it's a 4-way to crown the number 1 contender. So we have El Desperado, who's obviously one of my favourite wrestlers in New Japan. I love him. I always find it hard to back against him. Then you got Fujita, who's really good. I've enjoyed watching his work. Then you've got Sho, who, for me, I'm sorry, I still prefer Yo and Sho together as Roppongi 3K. And I hope we get to see that again at some point, because I feel like they've both pretty much been lost since then. And Taiji Ishimori, the Bone Soldier, again, another fantastic junior heavyweight. He's had great showings in the Best of Super Juniors over the years. He's had great title defences when he was the champion. For me, it's either El Desperado or Taiji Ishimori. And you know what? I'm going to go with Ishimori because Despy's not long just had the belt. I'm going to go with Taiji Ishimori. I think he wins and will get the shot at the Junior Heavyweight Championship. So we'll look next at match number 5, if my finger scroll down a bit. And we have the 60-minute time limit of the Never Openweight Championship. And it is the debut of Aaron Wolf in New Japan. So he is the challenger. He will be making his in-ring debut and he'll be facing off against Evil for the title. Now, I always say that I feel like you need to build up a title. So obviously, Evil's first defence You shouldn't really be dropping the belt straight away. I mean, on the odd occasions, fine. It's becoming far too frequent in New Japan, unfortunately, where we get champions just flitting between. But I've never been a fan of Evil. I don't like Evil. I feel like Aaron Wolf should pick up the victory in his debut, become champion, win the title in his first ever match in pro wrestling, his first ever match in the company, and then go on a tear and defend the belt for the next 6 months. That's what I'd do. I'd even have him going against every single member of the House Torture if that's what he wants to do as he defends the belt. I put the belt on. Like, if Evil defends and retains the title here, he's probably going to defend it maybe once, twice more before he drops it again. There's generally no point. I feel like the Never Openweight Championship at the beginning of the year was really good. We had Shingo. Shingo was the champ, wasn't he, going into Wrestle Kingdom last year. Then we had Takeshita, obviously picked up the title. Then after Takeshita, we had Bolton Oleg, who was great. I love that. Oleg and Takeshita. And then he drops it to Evil, which makes no sense to me. And like I say, normally I do pick the champion, especially if they haven't had many title defences, but I'm going with Aaron Wolf. I'll be backing him 100%. I never got the buzz on Evil at all. Most fans don't have it. It's mainly just New Japan as a company. I don't understand it. See, I find a lot of these matches hard because a lot of them, there's champions that haven't had the belt that long. Like the women's one we've seen before. There's 2 titles on the line. One has defended it will be defending it for the very first time, and the other one is defending it for the second time. Now we move on to the 6th match, and it's one part of the double main event. And it's the double championship match of the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion and the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion, and both of them are in their second defences. They've only both defended the belts once successfully for this match. Neither one of these guys should be losing this match. Neither one of these guys should be dropping their titles, but it's New Japan, and they're not going to have a screwy finish where both guys keep the belts. It's not WWE, it's not sports entertainment, it's professional wrestling. But this is where I have the issue. So you've got, obviously, Konosuke Takeshita is the IWGP champion. He went through the G1, won the belt, and has only defended it once. Then you've got Yota Tsuji, who's obviously had the big long storyline with Gabe Kidd. Picks up the victory, becomes the champion, defends the title once. Obviously, the Global Championships have only been around for about 2 years. He's the 6th champion. And the IWGP, this version of the world title, has been around for about 3, maybe 4. This is the 14th world champion. It's about 4 now, isn't it? I don't want to see a merge either. If you merge it, then you'd only mid-card titles, the Never Openweight, which that shouldn't be your mid-card title on its own. This whole talk of bringing back the old world title, we've seen that under Okada, and then Okada didn't do it. He brought the belt back when he won the G1 instead of the briefcase to defend that version of the title instead of the briefcase, which he then did, and then went on to then win this version of the IWGP World Championship, and then got rid of the old one and retired it again anyway, so it was pointless. And I feel like Yota Tsuji is going to do the same. They don't want that belt back, so they need to stop living in the past. If all your wrestlers are constantly living in the past, this belt is never going to get over. Obviously, I prefer the old design. I prefer the old title. Same with the IWGP Intercontinental. Even the IWGP US, they're better than the Global. But this is the now, and if this is what they want to do, then they need to stick with it. It's either you change your belts straight away and go back to what they were after this pay-per-view, or you start telling them to stop going on about the old titles. These belts are never going to get over if your current champions aren't putting them over. Like I say, it's a hard one for me. I get pros and cons for both. Yota Tsuji obviously is signed to New Japan. Takeshita primarily stays with AEW. So it's a case of, do you want your world champion to be in another company? But we all know Takeshita's got dual contract, so it shouldn't be a shock if Takeshita then picked up the victory and stayed in New Japan for a few months to defend it. But you've got to remember as well, as I know a lot of New Japan fans are a bit like, oh, he's not there. He does the pay-per-views. Like, what else do you want him to do? New Japan hasn't got a week-to-week show. AEW has, and he can show the belt week-to-week. But in AEW, can't do it in New Japan if they haven't got that. I'd like to see Takeshita pick up the victory. I want Takeshita to win. I don't want him to win the Global Championship. I don't feel like that belt should be on the line. I feel like it should have just been one title, which is the World. And I think Takeshita should win it and maybe stay in New Japan for a couple of months and defend it repeatedly to build it up and build him up as well. He's had a fantastic 2025 was superb. Like I say, he was never openweight champion. He won the G1, won the world title. Like, I want to see Takeshita go higher and higher. I want him to push forward. He's got the potential to be the next Kazuchika Okada. That's how good he is. But if you're going to take the belt off him straight away, you might cause issues. But again, Yota Tsuji is a top guy, and it looks like that's where they want to go. You know, he's won the Global Championship, he's won the Never Openweight Championship, he won the New Japan Cup as well, didn't he? So he has got a bright future as well, and he is just signed to New Japan. I'm going to say Takeshita. That's because that's who I want to win. I feel like they're going to give it to Yota Tsuji, unfortunately, but my pick, I'm going to stay with Takeshita because that's who I prefer to win. And then we go on to the tearjerker, the main event, the last ever match of the ace of professional wrestling, Hiroshi Tanahashi. He will retire against the Rainmaker, the legendary Kazuchika Okada. It's gonna be a hard watch. I'd say just watch the John Cena retirement tour, and that was crap. WWE absolutely fumbled the hell out of that whole run. New Japan haven't. New Japan have given him a really good run, really good send off, and I expect this match to be great. It's like Hiroshi Tanahashi said, he feels like Kazuchika Okada is the only guy that can give him one last great match, and that's not against anyone else. It's just saying that Okada can bring that last great fight out of Tanahashi. And let's face it, it's one that we'd want to see again. This is exactly the sort of match that a retirement match should be. An old rival one last time. John Cena, for me, should have retired against either Edge, but obviously wasn't in the company, or Randy Orton. But Hiroshi Tanahashi made sense. It was always should be Kazuchika Okada. I go back and forth on this one. I think they're both up at that point now in the career. Well, Tanahashi's career is done, but they're at that point now where if Okada beats Tanahashi, it does nothing to his whole entire career. If Tanahashi beats Okada, it does nothing to his whole entire career. I just think we're going to have a fantastic match, and I feel like the outcome's not really going to matter in the end. But I'm going to say Kazuchika Okada picks up the victory against Tanahashi in this last ever match. So there you have it. That is our preview and predictions. Let me know in the comment section below. Obviously, the matches that you're most looking forward to. Pick your winners, and then we can go through and see who got more right and who got more wrong, and see who is happy and who is sad at the end of Wrestle Kingdom. I feel like everyone's going to be sad because it's the end of Hiroshi Tanahashi's career. So let me know, obviously, like I say, and if you haven't already, please do give us a like, drop us a comment, and of course, the most important one, please subscribe to the Wrestling Group today.